Welcome back. Now, it's been a strong year for the global economy, but workers in many countries have yet to see the benefits. A new report on the world's labour market says that meaningful wage growth is lagging and skills shortages may be to blame. Well, for more on this and today's stories from the world of business, I'm joined by our analyst, Shone in London. He's the CEO of the international research group Explain the Market and has spent the last 20 years tracking global market trends. Guy, great to see you again. So let's start with these figures then. They're incredibly concerning, aren't they? Why have wages stagnated?
Sam, it seems that all economic problems at the moment point towards productivity. So last week we spoke about the FinCap report and the worries that the UK government were having. Now this new research reveals the effect that both productivity and low inflation are having on wages. So the recruitment group Hayes surveyed firms in 33 countries, and they found that wages pressure, as they refer to it, is still below the level of 2 years ago. So the effect of a low inflation environment is that many firms really struggle with the strategy of passing on higher wages costs to their customers. So the only realistic way of getting wages growth happening in any meaningful way is through tackling productivity. Now, as we've discussed last week, that's a problem that governments and businesses are really struggling to solve.
Let's move on to our second topic, Guy, and this ongoing trade war between the US and China has reached another new milestone today, a very expensive one, 220 billion euros worth of goods on both sides now being affected by this row. They're not backing down, are they?
Well, it's very tough, isn't it? So the new 10% tariffs on $200 billion of Chinese goods, it spans thousands of products, from anything from food seasoning to industrial machinery. China has fought back and immediately retaliated with taxes on about 60 billion US dollars, or when it comes to the US goods. And it means that the Trump tariffs now impact roughly half of the total value of everything that China sells to the US. Many think the president is right to get tough on these trade disagreements, but big business names like Walmart, Procter & Gamble, they're really worried about how this escalation in the trade conflict might now start to impact both sales and also prices that get passed on to customers.
Where do you see it ending, Guy?
Well, it's very tough to know. I think one of the problems we've got is that politically, in one sense, this does appear to be paying off. The challenge is that everybody's split on when it might end. And I think the biggest issue you've got is when it starts to impact sales and prices, then you get economic problems making things worse.
OK, let's move on to our final topic, Guy. And the holiday group Thomas Cook saying that its stock price has taken a nosedive after it said that its profits were affected after that heat wave, hot summer across Europe. Is it time for the tourism industry to rethink its peak seasons, do you think?
Yeah, it's a problem, isn't it? 24% off the share price when trading opened in London this morning. Big drop in profits. And the excuse provided was that the weather, the heat wave, kept people staying at home and reduced the amount people travelled. Analysts now are trying to look hard at next year to say, is that excuse valid, or does this point to a much more worrying trend that the business has got to try and deal with?
OK, Guy, Shone, great to talk to you again. Thanks for joining us here on Euronews Tonight. We'll see you next week.